Mallory narrated 13 books in the Babysitter's Club series. I made fun of her a lot for being a huge nerd, so imagine my surprise that her books consistently got high scores from me. I liked 9 of them. 9 out of 13, that's an impressive majority. Here are those 9 Mallory books that I liked best. Number 9, Mallory and the Trouble of Twins. Mallory's second book is okay, although I would like it better if she complained less about her appearance, and if it didn't end with 30 pages of shopping. Mallory babysits a pair of twins named Marilyn and Carolyn Arnold. They misbehave a lot until Mallory realizes they're nice kids, they're just acting up because they're sick of being treated the same. Mallory convinces Mrs. Arnold to let the twins wear separate outfits so other people can tell them apart. This is such a success, Mallory convinces her own parents to let her get pierced ears. If nothing else, the book is a success because the Arnold twins became regular characters for the rest of the series. Number 8, Mallory and the Mystery Diary. Mallory finds a 100-year-old diary in Stacy's attic. It tells the mystery of a stolen portrait, which the babysitters decide to find. That's a good premise for a mystery. I've definitely read other mysteries where the detective has to tackle this old unsolved case long after everyone involved is already dead. The problem is that the girls are terrible detectives. They don't look for the stolen portrait or investigate anything. Mallory reads the diary, and the girls scare themselves silly, thinking there might be a ghost. That's basically the mystery. In the subplot, Mallory tutors Buddy Barrett, who's having trouble with reading. Buddy solves the mystery by accident when he finds the culprit's confession. It was right next to the diary the whole time. Mallory didn't notice it. Mallory is a terrible, unobservant detective for not noticing the solution was sitting next to her the whole time. Good book, bad mystery. Number 7, Mallory's Christmas Wish. Mallory hates how shopping and commercialism have taken over Christmas. She and her family decide to have an old-fashioned Christmas this year. This is paired with a reality TV show. A TV crew follows the Pikes around all December. The kids are wild the whole time, and it's a lot of fun. The Pikes are practically a reality TV show normally, so it works well for them to have a crazy Christmas. Mallory gets annoyed at having to take reshoots sometimes, but the filming is honestly not that bad. It's kind of fun. In the end, everyone decides no, filming for TV is terrible. They can't put up with another hour of TV stuff, even though that means they're giving up $10,000 for 1 hour. I thought that was a weird change of heart because the kids loved being on TV for the whole book. But the moral of the story is that family and friends are what makes Christmas special. That's what you would expect from a generic feel-good Christmas book like this one. Number 6, Mallory and the Dream Horse. I liked this one because it's got a lot of different stories and they're all balanced well. Mallory gets to take horse riding lessons. Her best friend Jessie is jealous of her, so the two girls start to drift apart. Mallory tries to make friends with the other horse students, but it doesn't work no matter what she tries. They think she's a loser. And the breaking point is when she's thrown off a horse, so now she's terrified of horses and hates her class. That is 3 distinct stories, although you could argue it's all just part of one story, which is Mallory's dream of riding horses becomes a nightmare. There are 2 different babysitting subplots, not the usual one babysitting subplot. Again, having more stories is better than having one story and dragging it out forever. Looking at you, Book 69. The Pike kids have a talent show, and Nina Marshall has trouble fitting in with other kids. Hey, that's kind of related to Mallory's story. Number 5, the all-new Mallory Pike. I liked Mallory's last book, especially the first third of it. Mallory says goodbye to all her friends, there's a party, and they remember her best moments in the series. Sort of like I'm doing in this video. The book does a great job of saying goodbye to Mallory before she leaves the series forever. It's also nice to see Mallory get a happy ending. She loves her new school and her new life. The only problem is her roommate, who's terrible. As in, she screams and destroys Mallory's things. She's done this to 2 other roommates. The situation slowly escalates. I'm not a huge fan of the resolution, where they give the bad roommate her own room. which is basically rewarding her for mistreating Mallory. Number 4, poor Mallory. Mallory's dad loses his job and he can't find a new one. Dad struggles with depression as he loses the will to get dressed or even leave the house. After that, Dad settles into the role of stay-at-home parent so well, Mallory worries he'll become a permanent house husband. Just like me, ew! The kids try to find ways to save and earn money. Mallory gets sad when she babysits for the wealthy Delaney kids. The Delaneys have problems with kids pretending to be their friends, which nicely complements Mallory's struggle with some mean girls who stop being her friends. Number 3, Hello, Mallory. Mallory's first book was a good introduction to her, and it was nice to get an outsider's view of the Babysitters Club. Mallory wants to join the club and hang out with the cool older girls, but they're not sure they like her. They purposely give her overly difficult tests, and when Mallory fails, they reject her application. Mallory forms her own babysitting club. The older girls eventually realize they were being unfair, and they let Mallory join. The other major story is Mallory making friends with Jessie, the new girl in school. Jessie and her family are the only black people in Stony Brook, and they struggle with racism. Mallory and Jessie bond over the fact that they're being unfairly excluded, so the book isn't just an introduction to Mallory, it's also an introduction to Jessie. Number 2, Don't Give Up, Mallory. I'm an introvert, although I pretend to be an extrovert here on YouTube. This book really spoke to me, because the story is Mallory struggling with a new teacher who grades based on class participation. Mallory second guesses herself in class. She has a great answer to the teacher's question, but he calls on somebody else who changes the topic, and now she can't say her cool answer. Through no fault of her own, she's now doing poorly in her class. It used to be her best class, now it's her worst. The writing's good in this book. It is slowly and subtly revealed that the teacher is sexist, and he favors the male students without realizing it. Mallory confronts the teacher, and he gets better. This is paired with a less subtle storyline where Mallory's friend Sandra purposely acts a certain way around boys, even though she doesn't want to. Mallory helps Sandra learn to stand up for herself. In another story, Mallory discovers the school board misused funding for a student lounge. They have a lot of fundraisers to make up the difference. That was okay. In the worst story of the group, kids have a marching band. It's not very good. But I like the rest of the book, and I was emotionally invested in Mallory's plight. And now, for my favorite Mallory book. Number 1, Mallory Hates Boys and Gym. That is such a great title. And funny enough, this is the only Mallory book that gives a major focus to her kind of boyfriend, Ben Hobart. Ben's an interesting guy. I don't know why the series ignored him so much. Mallory's gym class is a nightmare once they start volleyball. The other team purposely picks on her because she's bad at gym. Her teammates complain she's making them lose. And the teacher would rather yell at Mallory than help her. I did not like the teacher. Half the time, she blames Mallory for having problems. Why aren't you good at sports? Be better at sports, loser! That's the sort of advice the teacher gives. I was merely okay at sports in school, and I can 100% sympathize with Mallory's gym class trauma. And now that I think about it, I guess my favorite Mallory books are the ones where she's forced to put up with unfair problems that aren't her fault, especially problems at school. Mallory purposely gets herself benched during class so she won't have to play volleyball. She tries to stop her parents from finding out what's going on. The one time she does try volleyball again, the coach accuses her of being a quitter. Mallory kind of gets a happy ending when gym class moves on to archery. She's much better at archery because it's an individual sport, not a team sport. So she doesn't have a group of people yelling at her the whole time. The subplot is that babysitting becomes a nightmare when all the young boys in town misbehave. Mallory and Ben trade brothers for the night, and she's surprised to learn her brothers are capable of behaving nicely. The babysitting subplot was repetitive, but it is good because it ties into the main plot, and it's clearly written by somebody who has spent time with young children, which helps. That's all I have to say about Mallory for now. Thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe.